You are live.
All right, we are live. Terry, get to Sharon. Everyone, welcome Anastasia Pavlinskaya. How did I do?
Yay! You did perfect. That was first try, like butter. Mwah.
Yes.
I'm glad
So now
she
that
did
I've made
this.
it past the name, let me give you her credentials, guys. She does promotion. She's a promotions producer at WPLG Local 10 in Miami. Wow, what a guest. And she is the director of stand-up performing or programming at Villain Theater. She has studied radio, television at the University of Central Florida. And most importantly, she is Miami New Times Best Comedian 2020. What a guest. And I know I'm leaving one off. Tell me what it is.
That I'm here from Russia with love.
Yes, Anna the Russian. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
So guys, we're going to do something a little different tonight. We're going to get to it, first of all, because Anna's got to get out of here a little early. She works so hard. We can't even have her the whole hour, but
Sorry. I'll be back though. Like if it goes well, as if you don't kick me out.
no, you're definitely welcome back. And I got to say, a lot of people want to come back. They say that they like it and they want to come back. I saw Hennessy at the show this weekend, and he's like, "How's your podcast?" Because he's been a guest too. So,
oh, that's awesome.
hopefully, by the end of it, you're gonna want to come back. But I just, Terry, are you still sharing?
Yeah, I'm writing it now.
Okay. I guess we'll just get to it. So tell us when you started comedy. I see that you studied radio and television. Were you in comedy before that? Was that deliberate because you did comedy before?
So actually, it was kind of a flip-flop. So I started in TV production. I really wanted to be in broadcast journalism, and that's why a lot of my day job is in that field. And I've worked as a news producer and done all that stuff. But when I was in high school, I was very grateful. I went to a great public school, had an amazing teacher, Alfredo Pichardo. He's still there. And he ran a great program at Cooper City High School. It's in Broward. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Broward. 954 represent. Well, I'm wearing a Miami Heat jacket. But
I associate you with Miami. I didn't know,
Yeah, no, I'm a Broward girl. But I had a great teacher there, and we had a TV production club organization. It was basically a class, but we would do a 30-minute show. We would produce a 30-minute show every week with it'd be like 10 minutes of news, so different news packages, then it'd be sports highlights, and then it would be sketches. So I started out in the news end of things, but naturally I was drawn toward being silly, but I kind of had this like Russian structure where I'm like, I can't break out of this like serious mold. And it's still like my Achilles heel, because I feel like sometimes I get a little too serious. But eventually I kind of started doing more and more sketches. And it was in college that I started thinking like, oh, I want to do stand-up. I did stand-up one time. And then I didn't do it again for a little bit just because I was focused on
where was your first
college. The Fort Lauderdale Improv down here when they had it. It was at the Hard Rock. Yeah, I was pissed because I did it, and then I thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna come back from college and I'm gonna take comedy classes there, and then they tore that shit down. And I was like, damn, my dream.
They got other ones.
Personally, I'm sad it's gone because we'll get to this with you, but we ask comedians what's their favorite room, and that's a lot of comedians' favorite room, and it's gone. So
I'm glad I got to perform there.
I mean, that's awesome. I wish I would have had the opportunity.
Personally, a lot of people love that Fort Lauderdale Improv. It was the second place I ever performed at, and after the Funky Buddha. But I personally I think that the old Miami Improv was better. The new Miami Improv is better, and the Palm Beach Improv is better. Only because
I just liked it.
They're bigger rooms.
Yeah,
but they're just bigger rooms.
Intimacy provides something to comedians. What do you think? That's how I felt at Villain this weekend.
Yeah.
Like being back at Villain, I've got to say that last year, I mean, you produced some of the best crowds, They just show us love, and I love it. It's always nice to go there. But even with the socially distanced show, the love was there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, I kind of compare Villain to like a cabaret almost, because it is more of like you go in and it's the lights are a little bit more dark and things are a bit more intimate. So even with the socially distanced comedy, I feel like it actually works for the space because it makes things seem like a lot more private and you get a show for you. So it's been cool to provide that.
So I just think that intimate spaces have a certain quality that comedians do
Yeah.
love. Just saying. So maybe the Fort Lauderdale Improv.
Well, I just like Fort Lauderdale because it was by my parents' house and I didn't have a car at the time. So that's why I was bummed.
So
she's biased. She's biased. You can't.
I was like, I didn't get my license till I was like 22. So
oh my gosh. Is it because you're Russian? I'm just kidding.
My mom convinced me when I was in school. Hey, my mom convinced me that because I didn't clean my room well enough that I would be disorganized and late places and then I'd get into a car accident. So it was like some crazy shit. But right as I was going to get my permit, there was a crazy car accident that happened by my house and like someone got decapitated and shit because they were late to a job interview. And I was like, damn, like that would be so I was really scared for a while, but I got over it clearly.
Yeah, a head getting chopped off is scary. You're justified for being.
I saw too many Final Destination movies too, so I was like, this adds up.
So
do you think some like giant logs were gonna come through your windshield and kill you? Is that
Final Destination put fear in my heart, I gotta say, like planes. But so Anna, let's move on. What speaking of venues, what is your favorite venue that you like to perform at? And you can't say Villain, outside of Villain.
Okay,
and you can't say Improvs.
Okay, Terry.
That's always the rule. Too easy.
Outside of the Villain, outside of the Improvs, where would I say? I mean, there have been some cool spots that are like that are not around anymore.
That's fine.
I don't know. Like I liked Buddha obviously when it was around. That was definitely the best outside of that.
Go to Buddha or Robot or
okay, so I mean I used to have, it wasn't my favorite, but it was pretty dope. I used to have a wing show like at a wing place and it was definitely a different vibe. And it was like just a beer, wings, like so in Cooper City and Broward, lots of different like it was a very middle-aged suburban crowd. It was fun because they let me just try my own shit. So I guess I liked that a lot.
But see, that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah, that is a good answer. Terry doesn't even know who you're talking about, but he's like, that's a good answer.
No, I'm saying the whole reason that I always say no improvs is because everybody loves the Improv. It's the best room down here. Like
yeah, you feel great.
But we got to give love to the smaller places where you cut your teeth and you know, like she said, where you can go and just be yourself and do whatever weird stuff you want to do, try to figure out new things. That's why I like highlighting it, you know. That's why I always say no improvs, you know. And you can't name your own room, obviously.
Yeah.
Have you done the West Palm Beach Improv?
I have. I used to live up there when I started comedy, so I actually lived in Del Rey for a while, and I lived 8 minutes away. Then I moved to Broward with my parents, and then I just recently moved to Miami Beach. So I've lived in accordance to all the different scenes.
All three counties, you got your tastes.
Yeah, and from like central down. I lived in Orlando for college, so
okay.
I took over the turf.
That's perfect. Out of South Florida, which county do you like the best?
Which county do I like the best?
Yeah, settle the argument.
Orange County, hell yeah. They have this mayor, Buddy Dyer.
Okay.
Orange County? First of all, I said out of South Florida. That's central.
Orlando is, that counts.
Yeah, that's Central Florida.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah,
But
there's a fight between these three counties. Miami-Dade says it's the best. Broward says it's the best. Palm Beach says it's the best.
Oh, I thought you said outside of South Florida.
Well, no,
Oh, no.
Story about the
Oh.
mayor, and then you can tell us which South Florida county you find the best. So tell us the story about the mayor in Orlando.
I know he's awesome. He's super, like, he's there to make the future proof. Like, he's future proofing, basically. I mean, if you read into all the tech initiatives that they've done for eco-friendly things, and to try to just boost tech in that area, it's amazing. I don't know all the specifics, but every time I read it, I'm like, yes, I like that Facebook story.
When it comes to South Florida comedy, which county?
Actually, Palm Beach, I would say. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I honestly,
Love
because
it.
I think in Palm Beach, people are used to performing for a bigger range of crowds. Because in Miami, it's a lot of bar crowds, it's a lot of crowd work, it's a lot of like, these people are here, they're not, you think they don't care about you. Like, that's kind of the energy. There's like this aggression toward the crowd. Yeah, it's true. But I feel like in the Palm Beach area, because there is a lot more of, there's also a lot of people who like live in Boca that used to live in New York. So there's more of like an entertainment scene and that sort of sense there. But I just think that
Florida to do comedy?
no, not technically. I have done an open mic in New York that was like an all arts open mic that I was the only comedian on. But I've never done comedy outside of Florida. I was hoping to do it last year, but COVID.
But I think that you have, because I've done open mics when I went back to Texas. I've done one in Houston, and it was at the best. My friends found it for me, and they're like, it's the best open mic in Houston. It's called Rudyard's. It was a place that we used to always go to when I lived there. I wasn't a comedian. And then like 2 weeks after I do the open mic there, Dave Chappelle does an open mic there. And I'm like, oh my God, I guess it was the best open mic. That was a good exposure, better than I like really knew at the time.
Yeah, I saw you post that photo. I was like, that's dope. You guys got to go up there and to see him over the summer, didn't you?
We sat 5 feet away from the dude.
That's awesome.
We're on stage. It was great. It's so
yeah,
good.
we just sat on the stage. It was awesome. I got a question for you. So you're Russian, right?
Yes. Yes.
We do politics a lot on here. What is your personal opinion of Vladimir Putin? Because, and let me preface, even though he has a very negative, image outside of Russia, in Russia, he's quite loved. I mean, he's quite beloved in Russia.
So I think that there's a really complicated thing that hasn't been analyzed on a large scale in psychology for people who have been a part of countries that have fallen apart and then were put together again. I believe that everyone who lives in Russia, who lived through the collapse of the Soviet Union, has like, I don't want to say it's like a mental illness, but there's a cloud, there is something that has affected them. Like there's a psyche thing that has affected them. So a lot of them like associate with after, the Soviet Union collapsed, Yeltsin became the leader, and they say like the US put him into power. He was an alcoholic, blah, 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 blah. It was the US's fault. So it kind of created that power, that vacuum, because there was this guy who was completely like off his rocker for Vladimir Putin of the old time to rise up, and for them to be like, oh, the answer is not these crazy people who like the Americans put in or whatever, quote unquote, but the old structure. And a lot of times, like my mom will be like, the proletariat should have never risen up against the bourgeois because they would have been better as a kingdom. And there are a lot of Russians who feel that way because Russia used to be the strongest power in the world. If you think about like athletics and all those things, quote unquote, we don't know, doping, whatever. I don't know all the details on that.
I watched Icarus.
Yeah, well, I actually haven't. So I can't really speak from expertise on that. But there is this thing where I do think that they are attracted to that structure, which is, I think, a lot in a lot of ways, because people are living in so many realities in America. I think a lot of people who believe they're like, oh, Biden's gonna ruin America or whatever, like quote unquote, it's like the same sort of effect, because it's a break in people's psyche and a craving for like a power structure, you know?
Yeah,
Russia has a big daddy
interesting-
issue. It's a big daddy issue. That's what it really
that's
is.
a really interesting answer, because it's
Yeah.
basically saying it's like a national Stockholm syndrome, where
In a sense, yeah.
you fall in love with your captors because it gives you that sense of safety and sense of structure. You know they're bad, but you can't help but love them because they make you feel safe.
Yeah, and the thing is,
they're bad, but it could be worse, I guess, right?
yeah, well,
Right.
the thing is now what's happening is there's a lot of protests with the Navalny, who was the guy who's the journalist who got poisoned or not poisoned, whatever.
Right.
And there's a lot of uprising going on, but a lot of Russians think that like, oh, this is a conspiracy for like the country to fall apart again. And that's why like a lot of Russians here in the US, where when it was like a lot of like the BLM protests and stuff, there were a lot of like, there was some racism in the community, because they're like, oh, there's all this craziness going on. They're seeing, I mean, my mom, I've seen her, the videos she watches of like these vloggers, and they're like, oh, you know, they're trying to tear apart the United States, how they tore apart Russia, which is, I feel like,
about the insurrection.
Yeah, but who is they? You said
that's the question. I don't know.
who is they? Is it
Who
the
knows?
Illuminati?
I don't know.
All right.
But it's interesting because there is this fear. So even though a lot of the young people, they didn't go through the Soviet Union collapse, so they feel very differently about like going up and rioting over this Navalny guy, which I don't know if he got poisoned, but you know, it's complicated.
That brings me, like, I want to know about Anastasia outside of comedy. So you're Anna the Russian. Like, were you born in Russia?
Yes, I came here when I was 3 years old, and all of my family's still over there, minus my mom, my dad, they're here.
And you speak the language, because I heard you say something.
Da, yeah, that means yes. But that's my Russian lesson for the day.
Okay, da. Okay. So, so you've been here since you were 3 years old.
Yes.
Find that offensive?
Honestly, no. But what is kind of, I did have a moment of offense today. I had my first moment of offense for a Simpsons episode that I had seen before, that I rewatched today, where there's a mail order bride that comes in for Mo, and her name is Anastasia, and her nickname is Anna.
Yeah.
And the thing is, my entire life, I've always gotten like emails like Anastasia date, all this stuff. So my pet peeve is more so people talking about mail order brides, because there's like, I've always gotten like attacked on the like weird email spam of people being like, are you going to marry someone? And I'm like, no. So I get way more offended about that than you doing a Russian accent.
That's hilarious. What about the
That's ridiculous. The mail order brides, we all know they come from the Eastern Bloc. That's not they don't come from Russia. They come from Slovakia, like our.
Well, people here don't know the difference. People here will call a Ukrainian person Russian, and they'll be like, yo, I don't even like Russia.
Yeah, I'm from Poland. What are you talking about?
Europeans are like Latinos. Like, they just confuse.
Yeah.
But I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't know.
That's my fault. You know how
Who am I
pop off.
outside of comedy?
We got about a few minutes left with Anna. I want to get to the blame game quickly, and maybe we can do an actual blame. But
All right.
so you're kind of off the hook easy, but you are one of the hardest working women in South Florida right now on the comedy scene. Who's to blame? Why do you work so hard?
My parents. The pressure
she's
of
Russian.
the immigrant dream. Because I can't just do comedy and just do it for the love of it. Like, I have to be good. there's that pressure of just.
So you feel like you got something to prove.
Yeah, I feel like I have to make a legacy for my parents' name in America. So, I mean, I'm going to have to eventually change my last name because of marriage or whatever. I believe in changing it. But I want to, at least while it's Palinskaya, make it. I probably won't change my stage name, but still, I want to make my father proud. I'm an only child.
Well, I think you would make a lot of hosts happy if you changed to a stage name, because if I had to pronounce that, I'm glad she did it, because I'd have butchered it, to be honest. Huh?
Just read it.
It's just phonetic. It's
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
So, so your parents are why you work so hard. Does it have anything to do with being a woman? Like, I mean, you're making a great, like you're trailblazer for women in South Florida comedy scene right now.
I definitely think, and thank you. Definitely there is a part of it where I started comedy around the same time, and that's when I ended college and started comedy. And the Me Too movement was definitely high and heavy. And although I definitely had like some moments when I was starting comedy where there were people who were extremely disrespectful or rude, whether it was just because they thought we were friendly or whatever. But that definitely pissed me off. No, it wasn't you.
If it was. Fine.
They don't tolerate your type of stuff at the Vietnam.
Okay. No, but so I definitely think there is a part of it where I was like, I want to command this shit. Like, I don't want to be taking shit from other people. I want to make opportunities happen for the people who I fuck with. So that's basically a big part of it as well.
No, I mean,
there's a lot to it.
I love what you do at Villain Theater. But what else do you have to promote? Why don't you give everyone your social media, and if you have anything you like to promote? Like, I think you have a podcast coming up, don't you?
Yes. So I have a podcast called Just the Facts with Anastasia and Ashley, with my really, really good friend, Ashley Diaz. She used to live in South Florida, moved to New York. Now she's in LA. She also does comedy. So we have had some awesome, hilarious guests on. We last week had Fabricio Copano, who was the first South American comedian to have a Netflix special. So that was pretty cool. So we've been really having some worthwhile conversations. So definitely check that out. AnastasiaProductions.com or Anastasia.lol will redirect you if you can't spell productions either. And at Just the Facts podcast for Instagram. Not you, Terry, everyone else. I don't know who's watching.
So I think people will figure it out. Like, we don't have to spell things anymore. We have phones now, so we just be like, Siri, how do you spell productions? That's
I still can't spell definitely every single time the first time. I always like mess it up a little bit. So
yeah, that's a tough one. Wednesday for me. The word Wednesday makes no sense to me.
I know.
Wednesday? No, it doesn't make any sense.
Getting a real quick blame in before she.
Okay.
27. So I want to ask you this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Tell me, do you know who Kyle Rittenhouse is?
Oh,
yes.
Here we go.
He is missing. Who's to blame, Anna?
His parents. Boy was raised bad. Boy was raised bad. I mean, the thing is, there's these parents that will send their kids away. There was a drunk driver kid in South Florida who killed all his friends, and then his parents sent him to Spain, and now they can't find him because they're not going to like export someone with the coronavirus. So Kyle Rittenhouse may be somewhere else. I mean, even though I feel like he loves America the most, but I don't know.
I agree with Anna. The parents, parenting. You always you take a young man like that, you fill him full of this testosterone, this patriotic nationalism, all balls, no heart, and then
I think that it goes beyond the parents. So
it does, though. At this point, it definitely does, because I definitely think that people have, in some, like, he's been made into some sort of icon on this for some of these extremists.
Like he's a hero because he shot a libtard in the head.
Yeah, so that it's a duality. Society, I guess, or whoever, these people are who are pushing this, but I think that's definitely a part of it too.
I mean, you have the celebrity who paid his bail, and that's why they want
celebrity, please. Ricky Schroeder
more bail that he has to pay because he's not like really financially responsible for the missing money. All right,
Yeah.
Anna, you are off.
I just had to look up Ricky Schroeder, so not that much of a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I watched Silver Spoons as a kid, but that was a long time ago.
I don't even know that show, so
No,
I don't.
it wouldn't. It's from 40 years ago. So.
I
All
thought,
right.
I thought
Thank
that
you so
we were
much.
coming in being like, hey, it's time for the work meeting. All right, so
Yeah, thank you so much. Have
Thanks
a
for
good
coming, Anna. Appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
here.
Next time I'll come for longer, but here for a
well,
good time, not a long time.
thank you for giving us your time.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, you guys are stuck with me and Terry.
I know we're all backwards this week. It feels weird, but kind of good, you know?
Because you know what? Normally, this is how we did the blames, but now I've gotten used to doing the blames with the guests.
Mhm.
I kind of enjoy it because I don't have to give my opinion as much. Hey, Kathy, we see you. We got Kathy Finnerty watching. Kathy, you joined in just in time for the blames. Anna had to get to work. She worked so hard. She couldn't stay. So, but yeah, we were just talking about how Kyle Rittenhouse is missing. And who's to blame for that? And I think it's the people who worshiped him as a hero. They got him thinking he didn't do anything wrong, so he feels entitled to be walking around free as fuck. Remember that? We talked about that just a few weeks ago on the show.
Yeah.
Out at a bar on bail, drinking underage, free as fuck. Parents with
No. Remember, in that state, if your parents are with you, you're allowed to drink. That's it. There's a minimum age there, but as long as you have a parent or guardian with you and they say it's okay, then it's okay. Which I don't know. I'm split. Like I agree with that, but I don't agree with it at the same time. Like you shouldn't be giving kids alcohol, but they are your kids, so do what you want with them.
I'm fucking pissed that this fool is missing. That's all I can say. And
Well, I mean, look, hating on him isn't going to do anything good. You know, that's not going to do anything good.
The fact that he was allowed to just go like abscond like that, and I don't know. I just feel like he thinks he's innocent. He has the, Proud Boys and the nationalists on his side. It's sad.
Well, yeah, but you or me or anybody else who doesn't agree with the fact that he should be idolized for killing a couple of people, getting angry at the situation, it's not going to change the situation. It's not going to change him. It's just going to change you. It's just going to make you worse in the long run. So I look at these people and I just go, I give them the flip it. I just say, well, you don't matter. This is a hiccup in our history in America, and it's not going to last forever. And eventually to be over, and history will judge you harshly. So it's kind of like that whole, give me the wisdom to know the difference, between things I can change and things I can't.
I mean, I know change it, but it needs to be acknowledged. It says in the article from U.S. News, rarely does our community see accused murderers roaming about freely. He shot more than one person, and
I know.
And we know he thinks he's free as fuck. It's fucked up. I'm sorry.
Well, he is free as fuck, but so is OJ.
Because he's out, but he has to hide. Still on the run.
Listen, Rittenhouse killed 2 people. OJ killed 2 people. You just got to move on. Sometimes
trial is over. He's literally free as fuck. Rittenhouse hasn't had his motherfucking trial yet, and he's missing. That's what's different.
That's what happens. That's the American justice system.
It is the American justice system. Let's go to something a little bit lighter.
Can we please?
So forget teeth, Terry Wayne. Forget teeth.
I'm a ray of sunshine.
A rapper took his bling to another level and put a pink diamond stone right here on his forehead.
Oh, I know.
Who's to blame?
Parents, I guess. We're going back to parents again.
I don't think are supervising him anymore. So I don't think it's
hey, it's not about that. It's how you raise them. And obviously, Lil Uzi, it's not the fact that he put a diamond in his head, right? Because let's face it, every entertainer, every artist, every influencer, they're all trying to figure out the new thing to do that will give them a little bit of a boost. You know what I mean? But the thing that tripped me out was how much money he spent to have that done. Because reportedly, from at least what I read, it was $24 million.
I wouldn't have
That's insane.
the
You know what
diamond
you can do
itself.
with $24 million?
The diamond itself is worth $24 million. And he said he saved up for it and all this and that. But then you had to also pay the surgeon, you know, like
That's crazy.
and it has to be surgically removed or he could die. How stupid is he? Like, do you think someone's not gonna come for that diamond?
I don't know. I think
You only wear Hermes bags to certain
look,
you don't take them everywhere. So Lil Uzi, what the fuck are you doing?
this
You're
is what happens when you get on that lean, you know, you're drinking that cough syrup. Next thing you know, you're like, you know what would be a great idea is if I put a big diamond right here.
you know what? I don't even know if it's the drugs as much as it's the influence on social media. You know,
It might be. Yeah. Influence culture is definitely crazy.
Stunt. Yeah. Oh, Shandy says it's $24 million for the procedure, and Kathy says it's insane. Fucking insane, right? Like,
Of course, it's insane.
then I see a picture of him, and it's like dripping blood. Like, how long is he gonna be with us? He's gonna go soon. Like,
Do you know for $24 million, like probably half that money, probably $12 million, you could have another penis surgically attached to your body that would be functional, and then you'd be two penis little Uzi, right? Like, how much cooler would that be than just having a rock right here?
You could send a bunch of kids to college. I'm just saying.
Yeah, or something great like that. But again, two penises. So
yeah, that's what's most important is how many penises. Yeah, I just can't believe that he fixed a stone in the center of his forehead that he could die. Like, excuse me, but nigga, you don't think somebody gonna rip that goddamn carrot out your head? Like, what are you doing? I can't.
listen, if he was thinking things through, but if he was thinking things through, he probably would have never even started down that path to begin with, don't you think? Like, if he took a second to go, like, maybe it isn't the best idea to spend $24 million to put a stupid rock in my head.
And it's like, I feel like maybe like with rappers, they just like want to outshine. And he's like, how can I outshine these other dudes? I'm gonna put a diamond in the center of my forehead.
Well, exactly. Well, that's what I just said. But if you're gonna do that again, if you're trying,
it says it's unclear on whether it's comfortable, but the rapper says he's gotten it. He's moving super different now since he's gotten it. Moving super different. And then
but it's like you said, they're just,
it's like a third eye reference, you know, your third eye.
Yeah, but it's like you said, it's like they're just trying to one up each other. So, but the point that I get, because I'm very left brained, I just always go to the logic of it. If you're trying to outdo another male rapper, why are you going to put a diamond in your head when you could have two penises? I'm sticking on this two penis thing. Because it'd be like, oh, did you see my new Rolls Royce?
I feel coming. I feel it, Joe. You need to turn that into material. I just can't explain to you. I just can't explain it to you guys. I've been doing this for 2.5 years, so I know what I'm talking about.
Notice I didn't call you out for it. It's fine. Explain it. Explain it away.
All right. So enough with that madness. Now we get back to serious things. Y'all.
Sure.
This story, I took delight in this story. I hate to say it, but I did. Bank of America reported its customers who went to the insurrection. Who's to blame? Terry, you're
capitalism. Capitalism's to blame. Bank of America looked at this situation. They go, you know what? We don't want any part of this. We don't want to have any look like we're involved or we're this or we're that. They were washing their hands of these people instantaneously. They were saying, we don't want anything to do with anything about this. So let's get in front of it and let's start reporting whoever's credit cards are from South Carolina. But next thing you know, they're using them in DC. we'll rat them out. They're Henry Hill. They were like, I ain't going to prison. All right.
You sound like you come to the open mic with me because you got a lot of jokes. Like this,
you go to prison, Bubba, because I ain't. All right.
Like it is called Bank of America, bitches.
Yeah.
America, who you tried to overthrow. So fuck off. That's who's to blame, in my opinion. It's how the justice.
Well, it's kind of poetic. It's a little poetic that they tried to overthrow democracy in America, and then Bank of America sent them to prison. Like that's, I don't even like Bank of America. And here's the thing, I have Bank of America, my business accounts with them, my personal accounts, my credit cards, everybody, even my car loans through Bank of America. All my banking is through them. And I can't stand them, but you know what? Good on them, man, because all it takes is one or two bad customer service reps, and you know how it goes. You get all pissed off and whatnot. But
I like the way they do business. I fucking hate corporate.
Well, it's capitalism, you know. They're money hungry, and I don't like money hungry. But
my money in a credit union, to be honest. But nonetheless, I like what they did here. It's just, like I said, it's just how the justice system works. It's not like uncommon for the federal government to work with banks to convict criminals.
Sure.
Which is what those people are.
That's what the Cayman Islands are for, man. If you're going to be a criminal, put your money offshore. That's.
And it says that all banks have responsibilities under federal law to cooperate with law enforcement inquiries. So, I mean, theoretically, all our should be reporting these motherfuckers if they, you know.
Well, not all of ours, because see, that's the thing is you have to be a criminal for that to be applicable, right? So maybe just don't be a criminal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly,
in banking, they feel like they believe in law and order.
Right.
You know?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if I remember correctly, the Black community was pretty pissed off last year about, you know, all this police brutality and all these unjustified killings, but I don't remember them trying to overthrow the goddamn government. Like, I know a few fools in there, like, would bust out a couple windows in Target. There's a big difference between that and saying, you know, we don't give a shit about democracy anymore.
No.
There's a level.
They said
the difference between shoplifting and murder.
The house in the head. They said they wanted to hang the vice president. You're being mild. Say what these motherfuckers were saying out there.
I'm not being mild. We all watched it. We all saw what happened with our own two eyes.
They were like, let's kill people.
Yeah, they did kill people. A couple, actually. But that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between, you know, shoplifting and murder. That's why we have different punishments for different crimes, you know. But I like how they lump them all together as if they're the same, and they aren't, you know. Black community is just saying, hey, don't murder us if you could, because we're people just like you. And then the Trumpers are like, hey, I'll murder you if my guy doesn't get to stay in power. That's the big difference.
And it's funny because that you're bringing this up, because like Tucker Carlson goes on Fox talking about how Bank of America is doing this. And they're like, move over Russia and China and Venezuela.
Oh, please. I don't even want to hear that name. Tucker Carlson's one of the worst human beings that's walking the earth today. All right. If there was any justice in the world, he'd get struck by lightning while it'd be getting eaten by a shark. If there was any justice in the world.
You know, under laws like the 1970 Bank Secrecy Act, like,
yeah, of course they do.
Y'all went to something, and those people, even if you weren't, those people at that event that you went to were saying, shoot the Speaker of the House in the head, hang the vice president. Let that fucking resonate with you. Okay.
But you got to look at the psychology of that. That's actually the fact that they were calling for Mike Pence's head. The fact that I drove down the street a week ago, right, by my boss's house, and there was a big Trump sign in somebody's yard, but they had like spray painted over the Pence thing. Like that's how crazy things have gotten, is that here's a guy you respected, so-called respected, but the instant that he doesn't do one thing that you want to do, which he couldn't even do, didn't even have the authority to do, you turn your back on him and now he's the villain and you're fighting against him. I'm telling you, man, it's not about politics anymore. It's about anger. The country is angry, and they're not angry at Mike Pence.
You know what scares me?
Here's the thing. They're not angry at Donald Trump. They're not angry at Joe Biden. They're angry because their lives are worse than they should be, and they know it subconsciously.
Then more importantly, Terry, they're angry in their fucking arms.
Yeah.
So that's what scares me more than anything. But
well, maybe if we would all just work together to make our lives better collaboratively, to make all of our lives better, then we wouldn't have to worry about these crazies so much who are armed, like you said. Because guess what? If you have a good life, you don't go shoot up a school. If you have a good life.
That's what Terry's saying, guys. Okay, but so just to move on from the Bank of America, speaking of the insurrection, you have U.S. judges granting requests from these criminals. They're being so lenient with these insurrectionists. First of all, you have a woman from Texas, a business owner, who got permission to go to Mexico to a resort with her employees. No, that is not okay. I'm sorry.
Well, there's a difference between state and federal judges, because there's a lot of state.
Find out on this too.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of state judges that said these people could be released, these people could go do this or that, but there's a lot of federal judges who are overturning that and saying, no, you can't, you know?
No, this situation was a U.S. judge in Texas. Maybe it's because it's Texas. I don't know. But I just want to know, why are these courts being so fucking lenient?
I don't think they are. I honestly don't think they are. I think that some
not allowed to go to a fucking resort, Terry.
I get it, but you're singling out one instance.
This particular woman was in Nancy Pelosi's office, and she was originally charged with a couple of felonies. It's misdemeanors, but it's now just 2 misdemeanors, and now she's able to go out of the country. And I don't think she's gonna flee, but she shouldn't fucking be allowed to leave. Listen,
this knife cuts both ways, okay? It's a dual-edged sword, and it cuts both ways. You can't, innocent until proven guilty, and until they get convicted, they are innocent until they're proven guilty. Do I agree with it? No. Do I side with them? Obviously not. But we have to have one set of rules for everybody, and it's a broken system. I agree. It is an absolutely broken system, and it is imperfect, but it is the only one we have. So we have to respect it, even when we don't agree.
Circle back around to Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yep.
Because she's going to Mexico. Kyle Rittenhouse is missing. There are 2 different justice systems for white and black and brown people. I'm sorry. We're not getting granted Mexico.
No, there's a difference between
excused after we're seen out with the Black Panther shirt on. They're gonna put us back in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you can say that all you want to, but Lil Wayne just got pardoned. Okay, so it's not about white and black, it's about money and power. Okay, if you got money, you got it. That's it. Like I said, OJ's still on the street. All right, he didn't get convicted, and we all know he's guilty. So it's not about white and black.
He said that. OJ said he's not black. He's OJ. No, he really.
Okay. He should. That's fine. He should tell you his pigment then, because fine. If he's not black, I'm Native American, because that's what I'd like to be. All right, just olive skin, just long hair. Oh God, I would love to be Native American, but
on red corn. Huh?
I'm just saying, like I don't think it's as racial as people. I think that's an easy excuse to go to, and it isn't. It's about money and it's about power, and money gives you power, and power gives you freedom.
I disagree with you clearly because
I'm sure you do.
I feel like as a white male, it's really hard for you to empathize with it comes to race, and you want to look for alternate reasons. And I don't.
No.
I'm like, that's racism.
Hey, look, it has nothing to do with
Like,
my pigment
like
or my genitals.
you don't think it's white privilege that she got granted her fucking? I don't care if it was a black person with just as much money, they're not getting granted to go to Mexico. Period.
100% they are.
Can I go to Jamaica
100%.
for my resort?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. If Oprah got arrested tomorrow, yeah, she'd be in Jamaica next week.
Okay, Oprah's not black. She's Oprah. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
okay. All right. And I'm Native American.
Why I'm kidding? Because Oprah actually was discriminated against a few years ago in France. So.
Because they didn't know she was a billionaire.
It's all about money. It's all about money.
It's all about money. All of it. Money buys respect. It buys power. It buys freedom. It buys everything.
I think money helps, but I think that I don't think that when it comes to the justice system that they treat black people fairly or brown people. I don't.
Okay.
You
might be right, but I think it's more of a poverty thing than a race thing.
No, I think you're wrong. I think that it's
okay.
a race thing and a poverty thing. I definitely am not one to shy away from the, economic disparity argument. I agree with that. But I also think that when you have two people that are on the same level, they're treated differently.
Well, see, I don't even like the fact that you use that word. It's not a disparity, okay? If you're worth a lot, you're worth a lot. And if you ain't worth much, you ain't worth much. That's the American way.
No, I mean, I disagree because you have people that are lower middle class, and there are levels in America. And I think if you have two people that are lower, the black person, the brown person will be treated worse. I think if you have people who are middle, the black person and the brown person will be treated worse. And I don't think you have the experience or you've looked at the facts and you know what you're talking about. So.
Maybe not. I know this. I know that there's a whole different prison that they send. If you're a banker or a stockbroker and you cook your books and you steal, thousands of people's 401k that they worked for their whole lives to do, and you ruin thousands of people's lives, there's a whole different jail that they send you to, as opposed to if you, I don't know, sell an ounce of crack.
I wonder what racial demographics in those look like compared to the other ones.
I'm just saying the prison that they send stockbrokers to is a lot nicer than the prison that they send drug dealers to.
There's a
reason for that.
You can't take that away. But nonetheless, I want to hear what your words for white people are this week.
Do you? I feel like we've been a little contentious on this particular point. But it actually comes back a little bit, I guess, to what we're talking about. I just want to talk about confidence this week. I want to talk about confidence. We've been hammering away on these articles of life, and confidence it's a weird thing because not enough confidence will ruin your life. If you don't believe in yourself enough, you'll become, you'll implode on yourself like a dying star, because you don't have enough confidence to go out and do what you can do. But if you have too much confidence and you believe in yourself way too much, then you end up storming the Capitol, because you think you're right and all you think is right. There's a balance. And I feel like for the last, maybe 5 to 8 years in this country, the balance has been way off. It's like a chemical imbalance, but for a society. I just watch people. They either believe they're so good and they're so righteous that they'll do crazy things, and it's getting crazier and crazier as they go along. But if you don't have enough, like I said, you become this wilting flower that's not good for anything or anybody. So I think we all need to just find our balance, you know? Yeah, you're kind of a piece of shit, okay? If you're listening, yeah, you're kind of a piece of shit sometimes. And in other times, and other ways, I'm sure you're a complete legend. You know, you're good and you're bad. You're good and you're bad. And it's important for you to know that you're good. And it's important for you to know that you're bad. That's what makes us people. That's what makes us functional. That's what makes us healthy, is that we're not good at everything, but we are good at some things. So take pride in what you have, take pride in what gifts you've been given, but don't feel so bad about the parts that you're not so good at. Because the one thing that I've hated about American society for the last 10 years is that we seem to now not only fear intelligence, but we have active contempt for it. People that work and learn their whole lives so they can be intelligent and they can earn things and they can learn things and they can teach the rest of us. We're all mad at the teachers right now because if you seem more intelligent, it's like it makes us feel so small that we just attack that intelligence. And it's because of that lack of confidence in ourselves. You don't have to be great at everything. I've said the same thing for 15 years since I wrote my first book was everyone's a teacher, everyone's a student. Just depends on the subject. You can take the smartest guy at Harvard Medical School, but guess what? When his transmission breaks, he's calling Bubba to help him because he don't know what the fuck he's doing. The same way that Bubba calls him when he has a heart attack and needs a bypass. You know what I mean? So let's just learn to give each other the respect that we all deserve. Because, again, you're the teacher. Just depends on the subject.
All right. I can't be mad at that. Words for people, let's call it. You know?
Yeah, it's not even white people. That was a funny name. That's why I gave it that name. It's just a funny name because, you know, we're white and we're funny. But
and sometimes white people, someone needs to have words with them. Let's be honest.
Listen. White people deserve to be made fun of. All right? We've been running the world for 20,000 years. We deserve to be poked at. You know?
I try that occasionally, but sometimes I think maybe I want to have words with white people in lieu of you because you're a little easier on them than maybe I would be. But you know, people.
Well, I'm not easier on them because I'm sympathetic. I'm easier on them because you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
I don't even think it's you're sympathetic. You're empathetic because you're white. And you know.
No. It's because I'm trying to actually make some kind of difference.
I'm sure you know what it feels like to be called racist, knowing you're not, you know what I'm saying? But you know what that feels like. So you are quickly to empathize with someone who may feel like they've been wrongly called racist. And maybe that's a barrier for you, you know, when it comes to understanding racial issues, I think.
No, I think that's an easy way to look at it, but no, that isn't it. I speak the way I do and I think the way I think because I actually want to make some kind of difference, some kind of change. I want the problem to be solved. I don't want revenge. And I think that a lot of times you get angry and you want to punish people.
No,
that doesn't solve anything.
That's
not justice.
It's not. I don't want to punish anyone, but I don't want to let anyone off the hook easy. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you feel like, I don't like when people are wrongly accused of racism. Sometimes people are going to be wrongly accused of racism. And I'll say that if I think it's wrong or not. But you know what I'm saying? I am a part of the group that has for so long suppressed my feelings when it comes to racism to make white people comfortable, and I'm not doing that anymore. So that's just my view on it.
Well, you just said it yourself. You have a dam of anger that you have held back for so long, and now the dam's bursting.
As a white person who may be empathetic with someone being called racist, but what I said was I'm not gonna make white people comfortable anymore when it comes to my feelings on when I think something's racist. I'm sorry, that time is over. For so long, I didn't speak up or I didn't say anything because it's not fucking polite. I'm just not a polite person. I'm straightforward, kind of like you, which is why we get along. But I'm gonna fucking say, I'm not
Yeah.
fuck my feelings, you know.
But that's the point that I'm trying to make to you is it's better to try and catch flies with honey than it is with vinegar, because hitting somebody with a stick for doing wrong might make you feel better, but it's not going to fix the problem. The problem can't be fixed with anger. It can only be fixed with compassion.
Listen, oppressor, you cannot tell us how to fix it. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like maybe y'all don't know how to fix the problem. Maybe it's time for us to give it a try, and maybe this is the way. I don't know.
I think you are. I think that the like look at Stacey Abrams, for God's sake. You know, here's one person, but started a movement and changed things. And how many times has that happened? How many times has there been one person? But notice how Martin Luther King Jr. has his own day. He has his own national holiday. You know who doesn't? Malcolm X. But look at the two different ways.
Radical to
Well, what I'm saying is look at the different ways they looked at things. MLK looked at things with
people misquote Martin Luther King all the time. He was kind of a radical for his time. Sorry.
Yes, he was a radical, but he looked at things with compassion. And that's why history looked at him with compassion. Malcolm X looked at things with fury. So now history looks at him with fury.
But
I'm just saying, do you really want to solve the problem, or do you just want to be right?
I just want to have, I don't want to have to, you know, I'm tired of making white people comfortable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. You're just angry and you want to let it out.
No,
I get it. I get it.
Terry,
I get it.
You're making me angry by fucking saying that. I didn't say that. I said,
I'm sorry,
I just want to be myself, and you're like, oh, that's angry. We're going to talk later. Okay.
You are angry.
Guys, thanks for joining us. We got to go. I don't want to keep Brad too long, and I'm going to Mike because I have 2 shows at the end of the week. You can follow me on Facebook, Giovanni Neal, or on Instagram, Blame Girl, or on Twitter, Blame Girls. And I'll be promoting, but I on Thursday am in West Palm Beach at the Butcher Shop in downtown, and I'm on a Zoom on Friday. So if you are interested in any of that, hit me up on social media and I'll get you the info. Other than that, Terry, you got anything you want to promote? I know you got something.
No, I'm gonna forego all of it. I just want everybody, if you're watching it, if you hear this at all, just give a few bucks to the Palm Beach County Food Bank. I watched them again today. Every Monday, people line up by the hundreds across the street from my house, and I watch them. I wake up early, so I watch them. They start at 5 a.m. every morning, lining up by the hundreds just to go through the food bank, because things are tough right now for a lot of people, and maybe they might not say anything about it because they're too prideful, or they might be ashamed or whatever. $5-10 here and there, but if we all do it together, it's really going to make a big difference. So palmbeachfoodbank.org, just go give a few bucks.
Bootstraps.org. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a Republican. All right.
Why?
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Anna. And I guess we will see you next week. Terry, get on that guest for next week.
I will. It's going to be big.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Brad. You're awesome.
How do you cure it? Jesus Christ, Brad. I thought I was a nihilist.
Yep.
Well, do you remember what I told you, Gio, about how to cure racism?